Knockout Legends in the building. Like, comment, and subscribe. So today I want to talk about Dan Azeez and Talksport, and basically they address the words that Eddie Hearn has been saying, because Eddie Hearn has said it's strange that on the week of the fight night for Buatsi versus Azeez, that Dan Azeez has had to pull out the fight. So anyway, I'm going to play the clip and then I'm going to get back into it after. So with no further ado,
who are going to head at the weekend to the O2 to watch Joshua Buatsi take on Dan Azeez. But what do you know? The fight was cancelled. Why was it cancelled? Earlier, following the cancellation decision, following the cancellation announcement of Azeez Buatsi, one Eddie Hearn, top boxing promoter, joined the boys in Drive and said, really, I'm sceptical of this.
I don't know about any injury. You just, in boxing, you hear a lot of stuff, Andy. Some stuff that's true, some that's not. But I was asked about it, and I heard that the event wasn't. This is just what I heard. Wasn't going particularly well, and it was unlikely to take place. Whether that was true or not, and he ended up getting an injury. It's very strange to get an injury on the Tuesday of fight week. But look, I think it's a shame because it was a good fight.
So, what is the truth of it? What is the background to it? For that, I'm not going to ask Spencer, and I'm certainly not going to ask the man to my right, Lord Simon Jordan. Dan Azeez joins us live. Dan, good afternoon. I mean, obviously, you'll be heartbroken and devastated that the fight is off. What happened?
Yeah, I just picked up a injury, my last hard training session, and yeah, that was it. I was just not. They didn't class me as fit to box for Saturday, so that's the fact of it.
Dan, is that a reoccurring injury? Because it is quite a freak accident for something like that to happen in the fight week. As we know, training, you're tapering off, you're coming down. I know your body's finely tuned, so injuries can happen. But
Yeah.
was it? Is it a reoccurring injury? Is it something that had happened previously?
No, it's never happened. I've never had a back injury in my life, so that was what was a bit strange about it. To be fair, when it first did happen, I thought it might just be a little niggle. You know yourself, Spencer, when you're fighting, you'll get little niggles or whatnot, and they'll go, like, especially when you're fit and you're strong, like, you'll heal up quick. So I thought, worst case scenario, I'll just take painkillers or something, like. But we went to a specialist, got a scan done, and yeah, it was worse than what I thought.
Did you know yourself, Dan? Look, I can't fight.
No, I've had injuries in the past, and bad ones, like, and still fought. So straight away, that's always that's never my first thing. Oh, I can't fight. Well, I've never had an injury that's that bad that I thought, no, I'm definitely not fighting. I thought, like I said, I'll just maybe worst case scenario is just take some painkillers or something. But then when my movement was restricted, yeah, it was a bit alarming. Like, whoa, like, if I can't even do this, what, like, this is quite bad. So yeah,
right.
I mean, what do you make of what Eddie Hearn said and this idea that the fight? It was very strange. He didn't seem to subscribe to the view that you could have been injured, Dan. He didn't seem to subscribe to the view that the fight was going to be particularly interesting to people in terms of the viewing audience. I mean, you're a participant in this fight. I thought it was a great fight. I think the British public were interested in the fight. When you hear a rival promoter saying that, which is A, potentially talking about your integrity, and B, talking about your value in the boxing world, what do you make of that?
exactly that. Like, do you know what, Simon? I'm all for, like, rival promoters having a little dig here and there at themselves, but not at the expense of a fighter's integrity and his character. Like, I work hard and I'm very passionate about the sport. And for someone of his stature, like, come on, this is Eddie Hearn. He's one of the biggest promoters in the world. To put out a narrative like that out there about me is quite distasteful. It's malicious as well and harmful. Whilst he's there, probably having a little snigger with his mates, like, getting one over Ben, like, he's messing up my image. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm from a community, like, where a lot of things are happening. It's bad. Like, the youth are a bit confused, and I'm trying to not only obviously go out there and achieve stuff in this sport for myself, but also to, like, just try and be like a some sort of role model, like inspire the next generation that's coming up or whatnot. So it's deeper than him just having a little laugh and yeah, look the show like and whatnot. It's like messing up my image, like, and it makes me look like I'm not practicing what I preach. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I work too hard. I'm too passionate about the sport. Like I could have done anything else. I didn't have to box. I got a bloody degree, but I chose boxing. So yeah, when I heard that, I only just heard it yesterday, and that, I'll be honest, I was fuming. Like it was very displeasing, and I weren't happy at all.
Dan, I have to say, you've been in here with Simon and Spencer and myself before. You're an extremely mild-mannered chap. What Hearn has said has really riled you, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it really has, because it's, like I said, someone of his stature, this is Eddie, like, it's gonna go out to the world, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and people actually believe in it. Like, I'm not on, so, like, at this point in the time, I'm not on social that much, but you'll see things like, oh yeah, we heard the show weren't doing well, and that's why they had to cancel it, and it's all BS. Like, it's people actually believe in it, and that's so displeasing. Like, and he might not be doing it directly to me, trying to like harm me, but he's doing it in man, and it's not going down well with me. I'm not really happy, like, at all.
When we now see the situation, obviously Ben and Boxer have said there is a real anticipation that this fight will be made before Christmas. How does that play out for you? I mean, do you know the extent of the time it will take you to recover? Does this disadvantage you to be, held back and have to fight again in the same way that perhaps Liam Smith had a challenge when he was ready to fight Eubank? How does this play out for you, Dan?
Yeah, this is the thing. I don't want to go in there just to go. Like, I don't want to be, okay, yeah, he's good enough to box. I want to be going there and I'm ready. I'm 100%. Like, I don't want to be thinking about the possibility of my back or whatnot. I need to be ready. But again, I also want to fight. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm a fighter. Stupidly enough, if I could fight with the injury, I would have. But like I said, I weren't fit to box. I'm hoping it could get done. It's just all about how quick I can recover from the whole recovery stage and everything like that. But I'm hoping, I'd love for it to be before Christmas. I really would.
Dan, what have the doctors said to you on the recovery time? Obviously, because you're going to have to get yourself back in shape again as well. Yeah. And have you had those conversations with Buatsi's team that they're happy to hang around to wait for this fight? Obviously, it was a final eliminator for that WBA title, so it is a huge fight. Have you had those conversations with Team Buatsi?
I ain't had that conversation.
Or your team, sorry.
That's Ben's, job, and yeah, my team. But like early conversation, I had a brief conversation with Josh, like over message, and obviously he's pissed. So am I, which I totally understand. But he understands, like, this is the game of boxing. It happens. Like, not to go back and forth with Edward, but like he's had fighters that's pulled out, bloody on fight week for numerous reasons, not even just injury. So like, I don't understand. Was it strange then? Like, like, it happens. I'm sure you can think off the top of your head, Spencer, fighters that have pulled out. Like, it happens. Like, it's the sport. Unfortunately, we're just in a game where if you don't box, you don't get paid, you don't get a title, you don't. So that's what's that much frustrating. And I'm sure Josh he's had to, he's had a lot of expenses. I've had as well. And, it's just one of those things, man.
Yeah, Dan, listen, we all know what was on the line for this. Like I say, it was a final eliminator. So you have to be 100% fit to go in the ring and box, a fight of that magnitude. And we know that you're not that guy, by the way. We know that you've done it the old school way, the only light heavyweight in history actually to win Southern Area, English, British, Commonwealth, European. So you've done it on the road. You've learnt your trade on the road. You've never feared anyone, never not wanted to face anyone. So we do understand that. I understand that. And I'm glad that you've come on to explain that as well.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Dan. I know this is this probably the lowest point you've had in the sport?
Yeah. Because it's like, I've got to the spot where, yes, this is it now. And then obviously it's just like that with a click of a finger. It's not happening. So, yeah, it's quite distressing, but it is what it is, man. I just have to just stay strong, keep doing what I'm doing.
Exactly. And, Dan, you've fronted up, and we knew you would because you're an honest boy. And we feel for you this lunchtime. Keep at it, and we'll speak again soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Dan Azeez.
Take care, mate.
Whose fight Called off against Josh Buatsi. You can tell Simon is he's
disappointed.
obviously extremely down about what's happened, but he's
Yeah.
also fuming at what's been said.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, that's for him to look at it. He's a pragmatic man. He knows that the dialogue between promoters and in this sport more than any, they seem to opine on one another's business so much.
Yeah.
But as far as him, the idea that he would perhaps feign an injury, Spencer has qualified that. This is a man that's done it on the hard way and has not shirked anything or anyone, has been wanting this fight for a long time.
So from the clip there, we get a lot to unpack. So the host asks Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver certain questions, but then invites Dan Azeez to come onto the show. Now Dan has done it the hard way. He's gone through every route you can go through to get to his world title eliminator. So he even says, I don't need to box. It's just, I think it's in his blood and it's a dream, and it was a what if that if he never did it, he may regret. So for Eddie Hearn to say what he said, I get it, it's showmanship, and he's trying to upstage Boxer and have a slight dig at Ben Shalom. Now, in that sense, he's throwing Dan Azeez under the bus. Now, I don't know whether Dan should have signed with him, or Dan should have fought under his promotional banner or whatever. I don't know. But, like, at the end of the day, Dan's got himself to where he's got himself. And if he's got an injury, then we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. And it's not that the fight's not been cancelled. The fight is going to take place. It's just been postponed. So it's going to be at some later date. Now, whether it's detrimental to Dan, I don't know. And he's not sure based off what he says, because he's going to have to recover from the injury. Then he's going to have to get fit again for the fight, which means he's going to have to probably, I wouldn't say do everything that he's already done, but like a lot of the work that he's already put in kind of gets wasted, because you can't really do anything too strenuous if you can't fight based off the doctor's orders, and it's going to affect basically getting back to being fit enough to fight Buatsi. Now, Buatsi can just tick over because he's probably already peaked, but the thing is he can overtrain, so at some point you're going to have like a bit of time off to ease off. So it's probably going to work out kind of the same for both fighters. Maybe they'll have to have a mini camp again and then peak and then get back up to speed to where they fight ready. So I don't think it's going to be that detrimental, because I think Dan will bring his A game, because he's one of them. He turns up on the night. But you can tell he's actually hurt by what Eddie Hearn has said, and it kind of calls his character into question and his reputation. And not just that, I know it's showmanship, but you kind of like throwing him under the bus, because if he's honest enough to come out and say he's got an injury and he's been advised not to fight until he's recovered from it, then it is what it is. And it is a big step, because like it may be his only other chance that he actually ever gets, because he's not as popular as Buatsi because of the name, the Olympics and whatnot. So there is that aspect. So he doesn't probably want to mess up his only chance of getting to a world title. And you got to understand, he said he's never had this injury before, but he's 35. At some point, your body is going to start telling you certain things you can do, certain things you can't do. So you have to kind of like ease back and, you know, take time. And he said if he could have fought with the injury, he would have just took painkillers and he would have fought. So you can tell that obviously he probably has already done this in the past. So it just goes to show most fighters are fighting with injuries anyway, and most people that train and do some sort of physical fitness or activity, they're training with certain impediments and injuries anyway. So in an example, to do some kind of physical activity, we always have to work around whatever it is that's bothering us at that point, or work in a way where you rehab your body so you can actually do the movement again, so it doesn't affect your other type of training. But anyway, Dan was a warrior. I don't think he would actually have made it up, but it is what it is. So Do you think that Eddie Hearn was right for saying what he was saying, or do you think he's just a bit of argy-bargy and he's getting run over Ben Shalom? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe. And that is another one from Knockout Legends. Peace.